This is the most lucrative man I've ever met. He gets paid $200 million for every hole he drills. He presses a timer and shoves a special drill into the valve of the oil pipeline. As the drill goes deeper and deeper, the man rushes to inject lubricant into the hole, while his employer looks on in disbelief. But when he reaches the last millimeter, he stops drilling, which makes the employer very unhappy. Why stop when he hasn't drilled through? Unbeknownst to him, this was the man's brilliance. He deliberately held back a millimeter in order to allow the pressure in the pipe to break through, thus preventing the sparks generated by the drilling from igniting the oil. Sure enough, the next second, a steady stream of oil poured into his employer's pipeline. In just 3 minutes, the $200 million fee was easily paid. The man's name was David, and he was known in the industry as a master driller who specialized in stealing crude oil from the oil companies. For his employers, although his fees were extremely high, he was still sought after by many people, and so he achieved wealth at a young age. Soon after, David got another big job with Kevin from the oil refining group. This time it wasn't the usual small-time job. Kevin asked David to drill a 2-foot hole. He wanted to steal $50 billion worth of crude oil. David didn't want to get in trouble because the pipeline was equipped with a gas pressure detector, and with so much leakage, it was bound to attract the attention of the oil companies, and it was going to be a problem to transport. Kevin, however, said that he would take care of these problems himself and pointed to an abandoned factory on the opposite side of the hill where the water tanks could be used to store the oil. Kevin was worried that David wouldn't agree, so he offered him $2 billion for the job, and David couldn't refuse. In order to ensure the success of the mission, Kevin rented a hotel near the pipeline and arranged for David to have 4 helpers, including a master welder, Curly, a pipeline expert, Carter, a fat man who was good at digging, and Anna, who was in charge of covering the front desk. Just as everyone was introducing themselves, an alarm went off above David's head and he was dumbfounded. It turned out that this was an alarm issued by Anna. As long as you hear the alarm, you have to stop the work at hand just to familiarize them with the process. Then they went to the boiler room on the ground floor. David used the floor plan to determine the location of the pipeline. As long as they broke through the wall and dug 30 meters ahead, then they could see the pipeline. The task of digging was left to the fat man, who swung his sledgehammer like a madman. David, on the other hand, is modifying his drill. After all, this is a 2-foot hole, and his previous drill was not up to the standard. Fatty was a master of excavation, and in 3 days he had dug a 10-meter long tunnel. It looked like they would be finished in a week, but then something unexpected happened.